Hey everybody, today I want to show you what I've been working on for the past couple weeks. It is a schedule master. What does that even mean? Well, we're going to walk through that today. So first I'm going to give you an overview of the system, and then we're going to go through a live demo of adding a project to the system and asking questions about it, and making edits to the schedule, and just kind of seeing how helpful the system can be. So this is a schedule help for residential construction companies. It's built specifically and form fitted to one. This was a paid client build, and I just want to demonstrate it to you guys. So this project came in 3 different sections. We have the project onboarding section, then we have the executive assistant schedule editing section, and then finally we had the basically the daily crew assignment section. So to start off, let's talk about the first section, which is onboarding a new project. So what the project manager would see is a Airtable form like this, where they would load up all the data about a new project that they're taking on and wanting to fit into their schedule. Has all the data they need, and I'll go through this more deeply as we do the live demo. And once they submit that, that triggers the whole system to start doing its magic. So let's talk about the magic. So this first guy will basically be the first one to get his hands on the project data. He's going to build a tasks section or an array of tasks in sequential order and assign them a duration of hours that they should take. He is going to generate these. He's going to generate this timeline without any resource scarcity or constraints. All he's going to focus on doing is generate an array of tasks and their duration of hours. After he does that, it's going to trigger this next workflow, which is all in one. And this is where we actually work on inserting these tasks and assigning crew members to them, assigning real-world times and scheduled start and end dates, as well as checking to make sure that the scheduled tasks actually are accurate to defined criteria. So the workflow takes a bunch of tasks such as these. So task 0, site prep layout, take 8 hours. Task 1, subcontractor scheduling check, footings and foundation, permit inspection, framing, and so on. And we'll then feed those tasks through the system one by one to be basically assigned to the master schedule and also checked. So this guy is going to work on actually, this big long prompt is all about what does it mean to assign crew, and what does it mean to think about scheduling smart as a construction manager would do. So he's going to generate the tasks. The tasks are then going to be run through this litmus test or gate, where it will check to make sure that all crew that are scheduled for these tasks, that their weekly hours do not exceed 40 hours a week, that no crew is scheduled before 7:30 a.m. or after 3:30 p.m. And it will also check to make sure that nobody is scheduled on a holiday or weekends. And if it does actually find that one scheduled task fails one of these criteria, it will fail this little switch and will be sent down to this revisions agent, who will actually work on looking at the schedule and fixing it back up. And it will then be run back through infinitely until this guy finally passes it and it makes sense. And once it's finally passed, it gets to the true branch, and the task is then inserted into the master schedule. Okay, so that is the full breakdown of the project insertion and task creation section. Now we're going to talk about the executive agent section. So with this new project, there's a lot of dynamic things that happen when working in construction. Clients change their mind about things, crew difficulties, vendor difficulties, the materials don't show up at time, weather constraints, and I wanted to build a way to have my client have an easier way of dealing with all of these issues, and not having to go and rethink his entire master schedule over and over again. So essentially what we're doing here with the executive agent is we're offloading a lot of the thinking power that it would take to react to these real world difficulties and giving it to this executive agent. So the first section is, it's important to note that the executive agent is the one that is in constant contact with the end user. So this node right here is going to be a Twilio text message node. So the way that the project manager will interface with the system is by texting it just from his phone, just like he's texting a normal worker. And he'll text the system, and that text message will go to what I call a query parser, which will scan the text message and understand intent and develop a detailed instructions list that have commands within them. That detailed instructions list is then fed one by one through the actual executive agent, whose job it is to trigger these different tools and actually make changes or update the task based on the user's question. All major tasks are then, or all major schedule updates or major changes are scheduled in the vector database that we built for this construction company. So it's very easy to see all of the changes that were made and also debug in the future. What I want to highlight here is kind of the system that I used and developed to make sure that the executive assistant was activating the correct sub workflows every single time. And what I used was a tiered version of tool names and then commands within them. So if you'll see here, one message that we had in here was, can you please pull up the project info for the Irma bathroom makeover? The query parser then thinks about it, and it goes and creates instructions for it. So these instructions say, load the Irma bathroom makeover project information for review. Project ID is not there, and here are the steps that it made. Step 1, tool name, project management, command, load project. So the project management tool is right here, and within this prompt of this agent, there's a command called load project. So the executive agent will see this and it will say, okay, I need to hit my project management tool, and then I need to also send over within that tool the command of load project. And that will tell the project management agent, who's the sub tool, to basically go ahead and execute that command. And what I found was really good about this system was it eliminated a lot of the guesswork with these agents and basically made them a lot more reliable, so they weren't hallucinating, and it knows the bounds of what it's capable of, and it's not, if it interprets a query that it can't assign a command to, it will simply say that is out of my abilities, instead of making up an answer based on the data and providing false info, which would be really bad and not very good for the construction manager. So that's how the executive agent works. We'll demo that in a second. But then I wanted to show you the last section, which is a little bit simpler, which is the part of the system that is in contact with the construction company's crew. So much like the construction manager is in contact with the executive agent, the crew will also be in contact with the system, and it will give the system real-time updates on task completions, on scheduling errors or scheduling conflicts, and the system will be able to ingest that and make changes to the schedule in real time without having to always rely on the construction manager to check off everything. Key things will still be checked off. The majority of schedule changes will always be alerted. The construction manager will always be alerted about the crew changes, but it just frees up a lot of it frees up a lot of time and headache for the construction manager. So every single morning, the system will generate a daily crew assignment for each crew member, basically telling them where they need to be that day, what tasks they need to complete, and any other information that's relevant. So, for example, For example, if a crew member is tasked to do drywalling at a certain project location for the first part of the day, and then move to a second location for the second part of the day, there will be a text message that is drafted and created and then sent that instructs that crew member what to do. And when I was working with the project manager, he told me that a big headache was when crew members finished up tasks early, it left holes in their schedule. And basically there wasn't a lot of optimization that he could do with these holes, because in order to do that, he had a physical calendar that he was just looking at and he'd actually go and make changes to. And in order for him to fill in these 1 to 2 day holes where, he's losing a lot of time and efficiency, he would have to regenerate and redraft a lot of that schedule manually. So the reason why I built in this logic to the system is these crew members are able to text the system and say, hey, I finished drywalling a day early. And that system is then able to flag a conflict and then go through the conflict resolution process and dynamically suggest schedule changes or it's able to dynamically suggest it's able to suggest schedule fixes or potential better options for that hole, which allows for the construction manager to not have to redraft his schedule every single time, and instead be even more efficient. So that is a rough overview of the master schedule system, and now let's go through a live demo of adding a project and asking questions about it. So I just did a demo project that I put in the form, and let's go through it. So the project name is the Lee Kitchen Update. The client name is Samantha and Mark Lee. 311 Meadowbrook Road, Tumwater, Washington is the address of the project. It is a kitchen remodel, and we want to remove the wall between kitchen and dining area to create an open layout, install shaker-style cabinets, a central island with seating, quartz countertops, recessed lighting, and a subway tile backsplash. So it's a 60 square foot project, and we want to start August 8th. We're estimating 5 weeks, and here are some of the critical deadlines. The electrical rough-in inspection, July 28th. So right here we have a fake project that we're going to be inputting and then running through the system to see how it actually creates tasks and inserts them into the master schedule. So here's the project name. We got the Lee Kitchen Update. We got Samantha and Mark Lee as the customers, and the project address is 311 Meadowbrook Road, Tumwater, Washington. The kitchen remodel is the project type. Remove the wall between the kitchen and dining area to create an open plan layout. Install shaker-style cabinets, a central island with seating, quartz countertops, recessed lighting, and a subway tile backsplash. 60 square feet is the square footage. We want to start August 8th, and we are estimating 5 weeks. Some of the critical deadlines are August 15th for an electrical rough-in inspection, and then a plumbing rough-in inspection August 23rd. Here's the work breakdown. We have demolition tasks, framing, electrical, plumbing, drywall, cabinetry, countertops, tile work, flooring, and painting. And then we need the backsplash tile install and an island assembly. So we have a section where if nothing in here can, if there's no tasks in here that matches, you can always just specify it here in the other tasks. Yes, we want to use our in-house crew. We don't have any crew preferences right now. Yes, we'll need subcontractors, and yes, there are permit and inspection requirements. Cabinets have a 2-week lead time. Schedule countertops templating immediately after cabinet install. And then we have a narrow driveway. Material deliveries must be staged on the street and hand carried to the back porch. And we are going to have the project appear as yellow. This really doesn't matter. Okay, so let's go ahead and submit that. We're going to see it populate in this tab. So right here we have the Lee Kitchen Update. Here are some other fake ongoing projects that we'll have to schedule in. So I want to go ahead, and before I have it run through this and actually start inserting the tasks in, I want to show you the first stage, which is the It was the task creation. So if we go over here to executions for this, we'll see that we had the project data come in, which was the Samantha and Mark Lee. And then we can see the array of tasks it created for that. So site access prep, utility coordination, subcontractor scheduling. Looks like we have a lot of tasks, and they're all going to be fed next into this guy right here. So let's go ahead and watch a live demo as this goes and takes all this data and starts to insert it into here. So it's taking the first item. You're going to start seeing it pop up somewhere over here. Yep, here it is, site access prep, just popped up. And we just got all 28 tasks signed in. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule. I like to go and look at it for the master view schedule. Site access prep. We have a subcontractor scheduling, utility coordination. We have the demolition starting on the 12th. And then we have the framing going in. And then we have the rough-in, plumbing rough-in, permit inspection. So cool. We have the template of it, and we have certain, our crew assigned and on all that good stuff, good jazz. Well, what if we wanted to actually go and make changes to our, what if we wanted to go make changes to the system, or basically go make changes to the schedule? Well, that's when we would go to the executive assistant to carry out some changes. So instead of an actual text message, I'm just going to be using the open chat. This will be replaced in production with this trigger right here, which is for the text messages. But right now we're just going to use the chat to send off requests. What if we wanted to move the electrical rough-in to Wednesday the 13th? Let's go ahead and ask that. So we'll say, I do not like where the electrical rough-in task is scheduled for the Lee Kitchen Update project. Can you move that task forward one day to the 13th? Okay, so we send that off. So he's going to hit the scheduling engine first. Cool. So we had reschedule, moved one day per request. Original date was 8/12. And we can see over here that it is moved to the 13th. Okay, what if we wanted to see on the Lee Kitchen project? I would like an overview of their schedules. Here is the crew for Lee Kitchen Update. Mike C, demolition cabinetry finish. Matt is on site prep utility framing. Tim is on prep, demo, and framing. Brandon's also on demo, frame, and material review. And Max, Josh, cabinetry. Each is scheduled for tasks from August 8th to September 11th with no overlaps or overtime risk. Most specialty trades, electrical, plumbing, are with subcontractors. Do you need details for other crew or tasks? Cool. Well, what if we wanted to, we're looking at our schedule and we wanted to mark a conflict, something to go and look at later. Let's say we just, for some reason, we wanted to mark a conflict for framing. Can you mark a conflict for framing on the Kitchen Lee project? I'm having trouble finding contractors. The framing task for the Kitchen Lee is now flagged as conflict due to trouble finding contractors. This has been logged for future follow-up. Okay, let's go. And we can see the framing task has been marked for conflict. Cool. Yeah, so that was just a brief demo of the system. We're still waiting on the Twilio campaign to get our verified phone number, so I cannot demo the the SMS dispatcher. But after we get that phone number, we just hook that up, and yeah, it'll start generating tasks based on, or generating texts of daily summary assignments based on the Airtable tasks, and send those to each crew member. So that's what we got.